Yo, what is up, everyone? We are here with another episode of Therapy Without a Degree. Yo, I've been dying to get to the 260, so hopefully we're at episode 260 or 259.
Right.
We are. It's been a while. Yes, man. We got Mr. Zane in the building. I am Zane with the Zane shades.
Absolutely. This is the look.
I love it. And then we got a very special guest in the building. Will, thank you for coming through, bro.
Thank you for having me. And thank you guys for having me here. I appreciate it.
Of course, yo. So, honestly, I got to rewire this house. We need fucking microphones from the second you walk in here, because you were just dropping some bars, yo. You were already just...
I had to mentally record it.
Wait. When we're talking about dog, like, I'm passionate. Like, I love all animals, but dogs is like, since I was young, since I was telling you, it's like been my passion.
Right. And
it's like a love. I spend sometimes, dog is not good to spend over an hour with them, but I spend so much time talking, and sometimes I tell myself, like, Will, you're over talking. Like, the clients are like, are we going to get to work here? Or like, what are we going to do? But it's like, it's just that I want to let them know that it's not about the money. It's not about the, acquiring X amount of clients. It's the passion and the drive that I have to make sure that your dog is in tune with what you want them to do. Right. And the only way we could accomplish that is, of course, us humans, we communicate, right, verbally. So I have to drill that into you every session as much as I can, because the dog, he gets it immediately. Once I grab the dog with the leash and I tell him what to do and I don't even speak to him, right, the client is like, how do you do that? And I'm like, you see, silence speaks a lot, right? But they have to learn how to get that ball of motion. Right. And, people are accustomed to dogs, like when they're barking over, quiet, shut up. Yeah, you condition them. All these mix of words and energies and different tones, the dog is already confused, so he blocks them out. Right.
They say I spoil her.
Well, I mean, hey, everybody spoils their dog. I spoil my dogs. I love my dogs. I love them to death, but the point here is there's a difference between loving and actually respecting, in a loving way. So in other words, you got to understand that what you have, it's a dog and they coexist with us, but at the end of the day, they're animals. And we have to respect the animal world. They're not humans. They're not never going to interact like humans. As much as we dress them and we put all these different Gucci bags and glasses, put them in little carts, they're still dogs. Right. And they're still animals. So until we learn how to respect that, then we could transition into love. Word. And everybody has a different way of showing love, right? Right. Even in the human world, when we interact, love is different. Right. You show more love. Of course, you love your kids. If you have kids, to the fullest. Right. Your mother, your father, your brothers and sisters. But the mother is like
top tier.
You know what I mean? So every love is different. So the same thing with dog is a love. And even if you love a dog, if you don't have kids and you love him like he was your kid, in reality, he's still not your kid. He's a dog. So when he does disrespectful stuff, here comes oh man, why my dog is doing this? Let me go get a trainer, or let me go do this, or let me go do that, or let me buy this. And there's people that buy tools in PetSmart. They buy prong collars, they buy e-collars that don't work.
No, it works. Zoom. It works.
And it's like I said, you got to be careful with these tools, because these are tools to help you put your dog in a better space, but at the same time, you can also break them if you use them wrongly.
Absolutely. That's why you got to get training to use it.
Exactly. And the dog could become actually more stressful and actually aggressive. Yep. If you don't know how to handle the situation in the right way. Yep. But I mean, in general, we all love dogs. Well, the people that love dogs, but we just got to learn how to put a boundary between respect and love.
I feel that, man. So what's a day been like for you, for what's a day in your life? What did y'all? First, we'll get to Zane. Want to know what was a day in life for Zane today?
Today? Oh, I could tell you what happened yesterday. Today I went to the gym and then was on the computer BSing all day. But yesterday I was filming a short film by myself. I'll show you that later today. But everything was just done by me. So I showed my mom. She was like, "How many people were working on this project with you?" I was like, "It was just me. It was just me."
Yeah, no, that was fire. I saw you. I saw you put that up. I was super proud of you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man.
What's up?
So that was what I did. I'm just any idea that comes ahead, I'm just gonna just film it out.
Good. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, man.
I love projects like that. Like it should be interesting.
It's called Tomorrow's Yesterday.
Cool. That sounds cool.
Right?
Just that alone sound cool.
Yeah,
Right?
That shit was hard.
What I'm talking about.
And especially that you did that shit all yourself. Like we've always done a lot of projects and stuff for him, but for him to do that, like all just.
Oh yeah. When I show you, you'll be like, man, how?
Hey, look at these movies that are blockbusters. Just people with a camcorder, right?
Right.
Made more money than actually the movies that were produced in Hollywood. Like it's
wild.
It's just the determination and the passion you have for what you're doing that takes you to that level, man. You just got to keep hitting it and keep hammering, keep going at it, never stop, never give up, and you'll definitely get there, man.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah, he's amazingly talented. So.
No, I could tell. I could tell.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. What about you, man? What's a day in life been like, bro?
Well, it's been good. I mean, today I was just helping my wife clean the turtle tank. That's about it. I wasn't doing too much, but every day I train my dogs. I walk with my dogs, my kids. They're my love and everything. So, it's just family stuff. That's all I do every day. Work, try to get X amount of clients, try to help out as much as I can. If I see somebody in the street, that's having problems with their dogs, I even stop sometimes, even though it might seem like a creep. But it's just my passion. I just stop and be like, hey, can I give you an advice, like to help?
A little tip?
Yeah. Maybe, oh, yeah. And then I tell them, be like, oh, I'm going to try that. I'll be like, look, I'm a trainer, I'm just giving you free advice right now because I just want you not to be struggling with your dog. But that's all I do. Like on an everyday basis, just dealing with my dogs and my family. That's about it.
How many dogs you have?
I have 2 right now. For now.
What kind?
I have a Neapolitan English Mastiff mix. His name is Max, about 75 pounds. Then I have a Staffy Drip. He's about 70 pounds, 75 pounds. And they're like very good dogs.
Now for you, I'm gonna get right into it. I wanna know, like, do you ever training these dogs, like you were talking about before, you were like, if the dog's stressed out or it might give the dog more anxiety and all that, because obviously our show is like therapy without a degree, so it's like, do you ever think about like the mental health of a dog? It may sound really silly, but like,
well, yeah, I mean 100%. It's the dog has come into the human world. We have coexist with dogs for a long time, right?
Right.
So basically, this is the only animal that actually is 100, because you can count a cat, but a cat is more of a solitary animal. A cat really is not. They'll live with you, they'll interact with you, but they're more solitary. A dog is the one that's more, and of course, things that we do will rub off on the animal because, especially with the brain, a brain is a brain, whether it's an animal or human, it's still a brain. So I believe in that. I believe there's certain, I don't discard anything, like as far as mental issues and taking like a medical way to basically control the stress level. But at the same time, most of the time we ourselves unwillingly make the dog have that stress level.
what are some examples?
Well, basically, like if you purchase a dog and you're constantly every time you see the dog or everybody that sees the dog is like, hey, how you doing? All that excitement, it might sound good to us. We might sound like we're actually giving the dog pleasure, but if it's an insecure dog, you're actually giving it more anxiety. So it's different.
Wait. How do you know if it's insecure?
Well, insecure dogs, they tell you about, you got to read their posture. You got to read their, the ears, their tail, their body, their tail's usually between their legs and they're wagging in the bottom. They're like, skittish. So that's a dog that's insecure. Like, it's not everywhere you take him. If he's going to see that box right there, an insecure dog will come and he'll be looking at it from a distance and he'll be like,
yeah, that's ace. You'd be like, what is this box?
Is this box real? So, and there you're like, hey, it's okay. Look, it's just, you're building more stress in the dog. And that's when the dog becomes fearful. And next thing you know, there's only two things dogs do: flight or fight. So when a dog is insecure or fearful, all they're gonna do is either fight you to get away from the situation, or they're gonna run. And if they can't run, they're gonna fight to the end because it's do or die for them.
That's interesting.
So it's a very complex. That's what I say, because basically people believe that every dog they see that wags their tail, oh, that dog is friendly, let me go pet him. Next thing you know, the dog bites. Oh, wow, the dog is aggressive. Or a person tells you, no, you can pet my dog, he's friendly, he's good. You go pet the dog, but your energy is different. The dog perceives it different than what I'm seeing. Because I could see you and him right now, and I could be like, you cool guys. My dog might come in here and be like, well, he's cool, but something about him is not cool, is off.
Right.
That's interesting. Now, for you being around dogs, like, I guess, what do you notice about their senses? Like, how often do you feel like they're accurate?
Oh, 100%. Never. Dog never lie. Never. Dog will never lie to you. If a dog doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. If a dog likes you, he likes you. If a dog trusts you, he'll tell you he trusts you. Like, dogs never lie. They will never lie to you. That's one thing for sure. Like they say, kids will never lie. Like if you go to court, dogs and kids are held in the same level. You know, well, not kids these days with the internet and everything. They can make up stuff. Like, it's a different story.
Yeah, but the average,
the average, kids, like a 4-year-old don't know how to lie. They just say what they saw, what happened, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless they coach differently. But otherwise, not even with the coaching, they'll still mess up some way or something.
You can curse.
All right, cool.
No, let it out.
All right. So, I just didn't want the kids, it's like, so the same thing with the dogs. Dogs will never lie. They will never deceive, lie. They're opportunistics. It's an opportunistic animal. Any opportunity they have to grab a meal, or you're not watching, grab a cheese or whatever, they're opportunistic. That's how they live. That's how they survive.
Oh yeah, my dog is stinky.
Yeah.
So my dog doesn't do that, and I'm believe that he just doesn't want to do it because he knows that's gonna make me upset. So he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But I don't test him for that long. But he does, he just smells it and be like, all right.
Yeah, but you see, if you leave a piece of chicken out, right? Because remember, a lot of us remove the object from the dog.
Right.
Right? If the dog is biting on the box, we remove the box. We correct the dog, but we remove the box. The brain, he still owns that box.
So you put it back.
So you have to leave the box where it's at, and you remove the dog from the box. Now you're removing the brain from entitlement to that box. So it's as if you teach the dog, if you put the chicken on the counter, right, and you teach the brain that even though it smells good,
don't touch.
That's not his. Don't touch his mine. I own that. He won't touch it. Even if you're not in the room, he won't touch it. But given the opportunity, if he doesn't respect you that much, or doesn't have that much that respect level, he will take the opportunity and take a bite over it if you're not watching him.
Okay. That's good to know. Because anything that's on the table or counter, he does not touch it.
So that's good. That means he has utmost respect for you.
That's good to know.
That's the respect level you want, and that's when you know that you have the trust and you gain the respect from your dog.
So Princess out here, this
not me. Hey, like I said, it's different. And it's funny that you guys say that, because the smaller the dog. Like, I dealt with a lot of aggressive dogs, but in reality, I keep it 100 with you. The most aggressive dog I ever dealt with was small dogs.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
They're just out of control.
Napoleon
Aggressive,
complex.
They turn, you see them, you be like, oh my God, but this dog is a demon. Trying to tear my hand or my finger, just going at me, and you have to redirect. And those are red zone cases, and those cases you have to redirect and understand why.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Because I see that a lot too.
Well, it depends on different situations. It depends on the dog. It depends on the owner, and what the owner is doing to actually trigger that action from the dog. Because it's not normal for a dog just to come. Let's suppose anybody comes up to you and your dog is next to you and he just start. It's not a normal action. In other words, he sees you as you're weak. I need to protect this guy.
Wow.
So he's the weak link of the pack. I'm not gonna let nobody hurt nobody in my pack, so I'm gonna defend you.
Right.
That's why people, they'll be like, oh, my dog, if I put him in front of me, you can't come next to me because he'll go at you.
Because he thinks you weak. I figured that's why they do get aggressive, is when they look at them like, oh, like when they protect children, it's like obviously they know that they're more dominant.
Exactly. So the child, they have to protect the child because they know the child is weak.
Right.
And that's why like all these canine protection, like Cali Canine and all these guys that do awesome work, they have these. Remember, dogs, you don't have to teach a dog how and when to bite. You have to teach a dog. The main part of all that is teaching the dog how to turn it off.
Ah, okay.
Because the dog is like you telling a boxer, hey, I'm going to teach you how to box. I don't know how to box. You got to ring that bell to teach him, hey, I got to tell you when to stop the boxing after I taught you. But it's like, the dog, you don't have to teach a dog how to bite. You got to teach a dog when to stop and when is the right time to turn it back on. And that's why these dogs, as you can see, they're always on the side, right?
Right.
When they feel like there's an altercation coming, they come to the center.
Right.
Right? So now they're in protection mode. On the side, the guy comes, the same guy that baited him and everything, comes to the side, he pets him, dog doesn't do anything. But when the owner tells him to come to the center or tells him to go, gives him the command to attack, the dog goes to work.
Got it.
So, these are things that people be like, oh, my dog is protective, and especially in the hood. In the hood, everybody's like, their pit bull is out to kill everybody. My dog, no, don't come close to my dog. He don't play that.
Right.
But it's not that. It's in the mind. The dog is like, yo, this guy's weak. This guy has no leadership, bro. So I got to protect this guy. I got to protect his energy,
that's
man.
A game changer.
That's hilarious.
So it's the same thing with the little dogs. You take them, you put them on your lap, constantly petting them. Now he forms a bond, or she forms a bond with you. Here comes your girlfriend or whoever sits next to you. She's like, I don't want you next to me. Get away from him. And he's like, no, she loves me a lot. That's what she does. Hey, stop. This is my girlfriend. This is my brother. Like, it's cool. But the dog don't understand language. They just understand what's going on, the relationship you have with her or him. And the reason why the dog is on your lap, the dog is actually claiming you as his property. So now you're the dog's property. So everywhere like you walk, you walk outside, the dog is dragging you. You know why? You're the dog's property.
Yep.
The dog is telling everybody, all the dogs, people, they just be like, oh my God, that dog is dragging that person. But another dog that sees them is like, wow, that guy's in charge of his household. So, that's the way, the different perception from dog to people.
I ain't gonna lie. Every time I see someone that can walk a dog without a leash, it's the most mind-blowingest thing to
I've
me.
seen that at a park in Hoboken. Some guy, he had a nice dog and whatnot. He was just walking next to him. He had the leash on his shoulder, and the dog's just walking next to him, just doing his thing.
How hard is that to get to train a dog to get
long leash training?
It's actually not hard at all. It's not as complicated. Like I said, it's just building the trust and the respect. You got to start off with a leash first, right? So if the dog is constantly walking by you with a leash, right, and he doesn't move, because it's, like I say, it's a dog. The dog always wants to smell the floor. They always want to investigate. They always want to read their stories, because wherever they smelling is stories, paragraphs, sentences, whatever, curses. It could be a whole bunch of shit. It's just their information from other dogs. So if the dog is walking by you and you have them in a heel or whatever you want to call it, like my dogs, I tell them regroup. So when I tell them regroup, they both come to my side. When I tell them go use the bathroom, go play, they go about their business. They can smell, do whatever. Once I regroup them again, they got to come to my side. But I always put an e-collar on my dogs, because you never know. Like I say, it's an animal. It's a dog. At any time, if you're a responsible person, you will have an e-collar or some form of technology on your dog, just in case he says, forget you, that's more interesting. You got to be like, no, boom, I'm more interesting. Come back. Oh, okay, bro, I remember. It's like a cell phone. E-collar is just like a cell phone. It's a form of communication when your dog is off leash, to remind them that you're still in control. So, that's the first thing you have to do is get your dog to walk with you calmly on a leash, gain that trust and respect. And a lot of people, I don't discard that. You could train your dog. I don't train dogs. The treat is the last part I use, because I like to train the mind first.
Right.
Once you learn the action, then comes the reward. But you first have to do the action. You first got to put in the work And then the treats is like an explosive reward along with the good job, good. It all comes into play. But he got to learn the action because once that treat goes away, sit.
Exactly.
The dog sits. He's waiting for his food. You don't give him a food. What he does, he gets back up. Yeah, all right. Hey, sit. Nah, I'm good. You don't got no food.
Yeah, because it's just based off of that.
So I always train without treats, and it's a very very easy step to train your dog off leash. But like I said, you always gotta be responsible. And anybody that walks a dog off leash should have, especially a big dog, should have an e-collar on their dog and should be e-collar trained.
So what are some signs to look out for like what we were mentioning about, like with a dog, like a mental health or a stressed out, even maybe not even that deep, but maybe like a stressed out dog or a dog who maybe just isn't really happy, but you think is maybe happy? What are some things people should look out for?
Well, body language is one. Like I said, the dog will act skittish. The dog will be nervous around every. So in other words, it's like not forcing the dog into that circumstance, but gradually, little by little, introducing the dog to what's making them nervous or uneasy. And the leash is like a connection from your energy to his brain, directly to his brain. And some people use it on the harness, which the harness, I find to be, it doesn't work. It's good to show. And if your dog is going to pull you all over the place in a sled, or the dog is going to like work for you, or you're going to put your dog to do canine protection or whatever, a harness should be great. But for you to go on a walk with your dog, harness should just be for show and tell. The most important part of the dog is the neck, because the leash, the energy you send through there goes directly to the brain. So if you're walking with your arm tense, the leash is tense, the dog is going to feel. So if you have a dog that reacts to a person walking up to you, right? You in your brain, you already know that person, the dog's going to react. So what's the first thing you do? Tension. So right there is telling the dog, an uneasy, unsecure dog, hey, something is wrong here. Immediately. So the mind goes into protection. The dog's going to be like, what's going on? Oh, I don't like this person.
Or just start looking, just guiding its nose and just following them.
Exactly. So this is why I say that basically everything starts with the leash, and you have to control. When you're walking with the leash, your arm has to be relaxed. Your body posture has to be straight. Dogs don't live in the past. They live in the present. I'm not saying they forget the past. I'm just saying they don't live there. They're not like us that we tend to live a lot in the past. Oh, I remember this happened. No, a dog, as long as you give them guidance and you give them the right true leadership, they'll forget about the past. And most of the stress and mental problems are caused unwillingly by the owners. 100%.
Like how so? Like what are some...
People take dogs, they put them, let's suppose they put them in the crate. As soon as it's a puppy, they don't get no training. They just YouTube stuff, Google stuff. It's not the same thing. You seeing it and actually doing it with a trainer is not the same thing. It's just not. Because it's like you could see college online on YouTube and then you're going to get a degree. You're not going to get a degree. I don't care how much you study it, how much you know about it, but they're just not going to accept you as a lawyer. So it's the same thing with dog. Like you could see it on YouTube. You could try it, but you might be doing it because it's all about timing. So you might not have the timing right. And you'll stress out the dog. Like with the e-collars, for instance, like if you put it at 80, you're hurting the dog.
So what's like a safe?
A safe is vibrate. All I use on my dogs mainly vibrate. Sit like a cell phone, vibrate. And even dogs that are red zone, the dogs that are like, I want to kill you. I want to vibrate. One vibration, they're like, oh, what is this? What's going on? You doing? Oh, you're the one doing this? Yeah, I'm doing it. Oh, okay. So I gotta respect you. It's a form of respect. So you gotta utilize it right and basically make sure that everything you do in the household, like feeding time, putting the dog in the crate, and all these miscues that people do in their household with the dog creates super anxiety in the dog, because dogs are not human. They will never be human. There will always be animals. But until we respect that and understand that, there's going to be a lot of dogs with mental and all these issues, anxiety, and it tells you separation, anxiety. Why? The dog is being separated from you. They're getting anxious. They want to go with you. So they tear up the wall, they tear up everything. But that could be easily fixed by you telling the dog, showing the dog, hey, it's all right. But you got to keep them away from you while you're in the household with them. Not when you leave.
That's interesting. Do you think that you know how like you said they had trained some of these these dogs like the cop dogs and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Are those dogs? Do you think are there other dogs out there that you feel like could all get trained to that level, or is it just a very specific dogs and
Well,
they're
the dog has to be specifically made for that because dogs in general they all protect, but not to that extent. There has to be a dog that has a lineage of that and a profound, genetics that they're built for that type of work. Because not every dog is built for that. You're not gonna get every cane corso and be like, my cane corso is a protection dog. Some like Max, my dog, he's insecure, and I bought him from a breeder, and the breeder, I guess, I don't know, he was like 5 hours away, so I couldn't see his parents, and for the beginning, I knew that I messed up, but the money was already paid. She had me pick him up at 2 weeks. He was only 2 weeks old. And I was like, I told her specifically, I was like, why can't I just pick him up when he's at least 2 months? She's like, oh, no, because they get very big. And this, I'm like, okay, that right there is showing me that she's irresponsible. So I go pick up the pup. But, the dog is the way he is because he wasn't raised with his siblings and his mother. And this is a big problem when people give these dogs out so young and they don't have that parenting from little puppies with their siblings and their mom. That's why dogs are suggested from 3 months and up to be given to the family because they need that respect from the mother and that bonding that they have. The siblings teach each other where they're at, middle of the pack, back of the pack, beginning of the pack. The mother, if he gets disrespectful as a puppy, she'll show him, hey, don't do this, don't do that. So the dog comes almost trained to you.
Right.
But if you take him before time, now the dog is interacting with human. It's the first thing he met, the first thing he knows. And he's like, wow, humans have a lot of, anxiety, a lot of emotions that I don't know how to take as an animal. So am I supposed to do this? Well, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
so how did this start? Like how did this begin? Like your love of
that's
how did this even?
Yeah, this been going on since I was like young. I remember I used to watch movies like Lassie and Benji, and the movie that really got me was Old Yeller. Old Yeller was like, I did a book report on it. I basically everything was like my whole life because Old Yeller was about a kid, right? He his father had left. It was like down in the country somewhere. I don't know where exactly. And Old Yeller was a stray dog, and the big brother didn't want dogs because he had a dog that died previously. So he didn't want to know nothing about dogs. So his father told him he was going to bring him back a horse, whatever. So he was excited. So the father left because back then the father used to go out, buy stuff, hunting, whatever the hell they used to do, whatever. And so the little kid, his little brother got acquainted with Old Yeller. So he didn't want him. He wanted him out. But little by little, the dog started winning his love and his respect. And the dog started gaining his trust. And he opened up to this dog. But what happened in the movie was that the dog caught rabies because he defended him from a wolf that was ready to grab him up, and he ended up shooting his own dog. But it's the way the bond and the loyalty of the dog is so immense and so great that grew me closer to loving these animals, and I wanted that same love and bonding from these animals. I was like, I gotta get a dog. And my father was like, no, not in my apartment. And I was like, okay, so you know what? I can't fight you because you're my dad. It's your apartment. But you know what? There's a whole bunch of abandoned buildings in the Bronx. I could pick up these dogs for free out there. So I started with stray dogs outside, little by little, coaching them, watching how they interact. I'll literally sit and watch these dogs interact. Just watch them. And then once they started approaching me, I started getting involved with them a little bit more. And like I said, one time I was like 11 years old, walking around with 14 stray dogs in the Bronx. And my passion just kept growing and growing and growing from there. But I never wanted to be a trainer, but I was training dogs, if that makes sense.
I want to know is how does that happen? Do you know how that happens? Like, how do people know? Like, I feel like I'm a dog I don't know what you would call it. I'm a dog person, and I feel like dogs know.
No, yeah, they do. Hey, don't everything in this universe is based on energy, right?
That's
Right.
what I'm
So it's all negative
seriously.
and positive, right?
Right.
So we know that.
I'm
but
a believer in that.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I'm not saying that dogs is oblivious, because the first language is energy. I don't have to say nothing to you guys, and I could come in here and look at you at a certain way, and you'd be like, nah, this guy's energy is off, or this guy's, the way he's looking at me is like off. Same thing with the dogs. They understand when you're happy. They understand when you're sad. They understand when they need to comfort you, because that's all they do in the pack. We're all, people and dogs are so much alike because we're all pack oriented. It's very seldomly you see people on their own. If they're isolated on their own, people go crazy to look for some kind of interaction with something else, period. Even if it's a plant. I don't care. A person lives by themselves, they'll talk to a plant all day. They're doing something. They're attaching themselves to something else. And dogs are just like that. They're pack animals. So they come into our world, and they take us in as part of their pack.
because like for you, because you were a kid, like how, what you that's just on energy. That's no really, I guess, much knowledge yet, because you're young.
Yeah, I have no knowledge.
So
at
like
all.
that's
Everything
based
I
on
learned
energy.
was based on them. All the fights, all the one of them will let me know like, hey, don't do this, and I'll pay attention to his body. I'll be like, okay, he was like, I seen his body posture when he warned me, and when he actually threw the bite at me. It was two different body postures. And then the way he interacted with other dogs that were eating, and the way I used to break it up, and they used to just move away, I started noticing that they started giving me trust and respect. And I was like, okay, cool. So I started moving just like them. It's like Tarzan with the gorillas.
Right,
Except
except
he
with
just started learning. He grew up with them. He started learning, whatever. So the same thing. Like, I just started learning. They were my teachers. The stray dogs of the Bronx were my teachers, and I appreciate them.
Now, what was like? Do you remember some of the names for the first dogs that you were like, yo, these are mine? Like these.
Well, the dogs that I own, like I said, Oz, Tori, Seiko, Tyson, Precious, and most of them were like Japanese Tosas. I had a couple of pits, but I really didn't. Capone, I remember Capone was one of them. He was like, but that dog was, and that dog was totally crazy. That dog was like mentally not there. He was a white pit bull. In Harlem, this guy was like, hey, I have a pit bull we're selling. I think he was a year old. He was like, just give me $700. He was like, but he's aggressive. I was like, okay. So he brought the dog I was working at a supermarket then, and he brought the dog to the supermarket, and he was like, yo, where you want me to put him? I was like, hey, put him in the basement. So he put the dog in the basement. He comes back up. He's like, yo, all right, the dog is in the basement. You want me to go with you to pick him up? And I was like, nah, it's all right. It's all right. You don't need to come with me. He was like, bro, you gave me the money. His dog is aggressive, man. I was like, all right, hey, don't worry about it. I got it. He left. And the reason why I did that is because if he would have came down with me, the dog already has tendencies with him to be aggressive, right? So if he's not around, then the aggression part is like, it's more of a weary part. Like, who are you? Instead of more like, who's there? Oh, I got my partner right here. Yeah, what's up? Doing the same thing he always does. So I went downstairs, and, it took me like about 4 minutes, but I came back up with the dog. Everybody was like, holy shit. I came back up with him, and I used to tell Capone, sit, stay. He'll stay. He even the supermarket, they tried to rob the store. They gave him a medal and everything, the police. And I never trained this dog for attacking or anything.
Guy got a badge.
Yeah, bro. Seriously. And I'm like, it was under the Drew Hamilton projects. And I was like, so that day, some guys tried to break in with a jack. They put a jack on the gate, jacked up the gate, broke in. We had Mexicans working at night that were fixing the stores, whatever. So they went downstairs because they heard that the guy was breaking the door. They let Capone loose, and they got on the pipes because they were scared of Capone too. So they let him loose with a broom. Capone ran upstairs. When the cops came, I had to come, like, it was about 2:00 in the morning. They called me. I had to go to the store because nobody could get in, and the two guys were on the shelf, on the top shelf, and they couldn't come out. The cop was like, yo, we can't get in there. This dog don't let us in. And they gave him a medal and everything. The two guys were apprehended, and, it was like, crazy. This is a dog that was highly aggressive, and he's doing stuff, but why? Because of trust and respect.
How long did you you think that took? You said for you.
Oh, when I first got him, it was like 3 to 4 minutes when I went and picked him up in the basement. But the transaction of me getting him to where I had him took me about 2-3 months. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Harlem,
A little bit.
like
a little
8th
bit.
Avenue. They got the middle section where you cross over. You know, the hump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to sit my dog there, and you know how the traffic is in New York.
Yeah.
I used to sit Capone there. I walk to the other side of the street, and he'll stay there for 2-3 hours just sitting there. And all the cars, and he wouldn't move.
But he was watching you.
I'll be in the store.
Okay.
He was just out there. I'll be in the store. I totally wasn't even looking at him. And he would just not move from then. When I call him, he'll come straight inside.
He crossed the street?
Yeah, he'll cross the street on his own, come straight inside. But because I'm calling him. But, of course, I'll wait for the cars to be.
Right.
But he'll come straight inside. So it's this is what I mean. Like, you need to earn that trust and respect from your dog.
It's true.
Now you get to that point where all right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, of course. And you have to. But the thing is, you can't be when you're working with your dog. You can't be scared. You have to be trusting. So you have to be knowledgeable enough to give the dog the sense of that you're trusting him, that he's gonna stay there. Because if you tell your dog to sit and stay, and you're like stay, and you're walking all the way to the dog is like, okay, so I'm confused now because you're telling me stay, but you're telling me stay like in a nervous. There's something gonna happen here. I gotta move. But if you tell your dog, you drop the leash, you tell him to stay. You don't even have to speak to them. Put him in a sit, drop the leash, move. The dog understands.
You get them in like a schedule situation because my dog he knows when it's time, and even bedtime. My man gets grouchy. He'll
Absolutely.
give a little bark like. Don't you see what time it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
my bad.
They understand because they like I said, is a repetitive thing, and since you repeat, that's why I say that people do stuff unwillingly because they don't know they're doing it. They're just repeating the same action over and over and over. And if this action was a good action, the dog would be perfect.
I actually noticed I did that too. Like my dog has my sleeping pattern. It's crazy. She she has my sleeping pattern and she has my hyper or when I go for a long walk or I'll just be off work mode. I'm a night owl. So 2-3 a.m. is my okay, I'm finished on the computer. I'm done. I'll go for my longest walk sometimes at 2-3 in the morning.
There you go.
And then now the last few maybe year I've lowered it a little bit. So I've tried. Now I'm going to bed at maybe 1, but at 3 she's still hyper.
She's still hyper. She still wants to go out.
She's hyper now. And it's just those little things, those little patterns. She'll sleep late in the morning. It's just funny. And I noticed that after doing that consistently for probably 2 years, that same schedule. Because before that I was always all over the place. But being consistent for 2 years, with pretty much that pattern. Yeah, she stuck to it.
That's the reason why, because dogs, like you're saying, they learn patterns, right? So everything you do consistently, they start learning it, and then they start thinking in advance before you. So 3 o'clock hits, she's already by the door. She's already moving anxiously, she's ready, for you to geared up for you to go outside. So that's why I tell people we got to change it up a little bit. We got to change what we do a little bit to teach the dog that there is no pattern. My life changes at all times. Feeding, there's people that feed their dogs. No, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. My dogs don't know when they're going to get their food. They just know they're going to get fed.
Why? Why is it for you?
Because you don't want to create that pattern. You don't want a dog expecting you to do something. You want a dog to not expect when he's going to get something, but he knows that he's going to get it. It's like you telling your kid or whoever, oh, I'm going to get you a PlayStation tomorrow. But you wait a week and you get it for him next week. The kid is going to be sad the whole week. Yeah. Because you didn't get it for him tomorrow. So it's same thing with the dog is the pattern. You need to change the pattern constantly on the dog, constantly. And the same thing goes with the sit stay. If you tell a dog, that's why I tell clients not to call the dog most of the time. Come. Because sometimes as much as you do that, the dog starts anticipating once you turn around that he needs to come. So I'd rather just have the dog sit with the leash, drop it, walk away. When you want him to start walking, you go over there, you pick up the leash, and he walks with you. So until you don't pick up that leash, that dog is not moving.
Yo, some good shit.
Less, you know,
Takes
it's
notes. Takes notes.
Yeah.
you know, it's better to, like I say, it's always better to use less words, more action.
I've noticed that with my dog. Like if he's on leash and the leash is like dropped to the ground, he just does nothing. Just doesn't.
See, that's
and I teach him that he just does nothing. He's looking at me. I'm like, so
like
what we do?
confused, like what we're gonna do? You're the leader,
Right.
guide me. So you know, it's that's the relationship you want with your dog.
Okay.
You want him to look at you as a leader, not as a dictator.
Right.
Because a dictator and a leader are two different things. A leader leads with love, compassion, and also, you know, he teaches.
Right.
A dictator, he don't care what it is. You just got to do it.
Right.
You know, a dictator just grab the lead, be like, yo, bro, you're going to walk this way. And that's it. I don't care what you're doing.
Right.
I'm going to force you. You don't want to force her. You want him to actually learn and respect you.
Right.
So when a dog is looking at you for guidance, and every time a dog makes contact with you, and you guide him, that's beautiful.
All right. So the next thing I really want to ask you is emotional support dogs, real, fake, or what?
Well, to be honest,
Yeah.
like an emotional support dog is real. If it's, I can't train a real emotional support dog, because to me, a real emotional support dog is a dog that supports a blind person, a person that has a medical disbalance. The dog is actually trained for that, seizures, whatever. I can't do that because that's totally a different field, and you have to be, you know, you have to understand that, and you have to get the right dog, the right line of dog that was bred to work for that type of stuff that you're looking for. Now, an emotional support dog, for everybody in general, you want to go into ShopRite, then that's different. You know, that's a dog that just has general obedience, a dog that's, you know, when you walks by your side, it's not lashing out at people. It's not going to smell people. It's not peeing all over the supermarket. So, you know, that's basically the dog's going to serve whatever purpose you need. If you need them next to you or with you, it's fine. But it's like, you know, it's not something that's like, you know, emotional support dog is not a service dog. It's two different things. People think that it's a service dog. A service dog is what I told you, blind. You know, those dogs there, that's 100%. I believe in 100%. Emotional support, hey, you know, if you want your dog to support you everywhere, then hey, do that. But you need to train your dog to be courteous and be a good dog and well behaved in public. Because there's a lot of emotional support dogs that I see out there that have the title.
Right. I was gonna get a vest.
But you turn around, they want to bite your hand off.
But now, so my question, I guess, because I'm learning from what you're saying, do you think that the more emotionally supportive the dog is, the more it thinks that the human is just not like you said, like not like is more weak?
Well, it's no, in that instance, like it's different. It's different because basically it's like, you know, if you have a sickness, like if you have anxiety, or you have like you're scared of going in public places by yourself because of, you know, a traumatic event or whatever, and you feel like the dog is what makes you feel more comfortable, more yourself in those areas, then, you know, I'm all for that. But the dog is all for that because the dog just goes off of your energy, right? So if you're feeling good because you're petting the dog, that energy you're giving is relaxing the dog and is letting the dog know that you're good. You're feeling good. But it's not something that's like, you know, you don't have to do it. I mean, there's other ways that humans could go about stuff, but, you know, us humans, we pick and choose whatever we want to do in life, basically. But, you know, I don't discard the emotional support dog because there's a lot of people that need that support.
Yeah, so it's okay, and that's a big topic. A lot of people are just getting the pass to get the pass.
Yeah, no, of course, and you know, but you could tell those because they'll tell you, "Yes, my mother," and they're over there acting like there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. They just want to show off their French bulldog, or they want to show off their Labradoodle or whatever. Put them in a stroller and be like, "Yeah, this is my emotional support dog," or put a vest on them. I mean, people have, you know, like I said, us people, we're unpredictable. We can't dictate what every person is going through or not going through. Right. But the one that could dictate the bullshit definitely is a dog.
Craziest dog experience ever.
Oh, man. I had a whole bunch, man. But, like, what I could say is basically, let me think of one. Because I had a lot of crazy dog experience, man. And it's like,
Well, I want to ask you that. Maybe, we'll see which one you want to do first. I want to ask you that, and I also want to ask you about kids. Some dogs are just not good with kids, but maybe they're good with everybody else. Have you?
Yeah, you need to. This is what I'm saying. Like a chow chow, not good for kids. Period. I don't know what's going on with the chow chow, but there's no chow chow that love kids. They're just not made for kids. So like your dog, for instance. Yeah. I won't tell a family that has a 2-year-old to get a dog like that.
Yeah, she don't really rock with kids like that.
Because you know what? Kids are, number one, never trust your kid with any dog at any time. My dogs, my kids, even though they're grown now, but since little, they respect my dogs and my dogs respect them. You got to teach your kids to respect the dog. Not only the dog to respect the kid, you got to teach also the kid, hey, when the dog is laying down, don't go over there and sit on him. Don't go over there and pull his ear. So the same correction you give in the dog, you have to give the child. So it could work out. And never leave your child and your dog unsupervised. Never. Even if it's your own dog and your own child, never leave them unsupervised. Yeah. If you're not going to supervise them, one of them got to go somewhere. Either the kid goes in the room or the dog goes in the crate.
Yeah, I be seeing some wild.
It's crazy. It's just, and then the dog, bites this kid. And now the dog is deemed aggressive. Right. But there's some dogs that generally don't like kids. So, it's dogs are like people. There are dogs that like kids. There's dogs that don't like them. So, you got to pick the right dog for your family. And with kids, it's either a big dog like an English Mastiff. That as they grow, the kid, they have a high pain tolerance. In other words, that you could pinch them, you could grab them. It's not a dog that's going to react right away like your dog. Your dog, once they pull her hair or her tails, she'll react right away and defend herself. A bulldog, you could pull his leg, pit bull, till it's coming up. Their pain tolerance is like super high. So that's good for a child.
Oh, because when you're messing with it.
It's less reactive to pain. Because kids, you leave them unsupervised, they don't know what they're doing.
They pull the tail.
Tail, poke the eye, hit whatever. And it's like, if you have a dog that has low pain tolerance, he's going to react only one way he knows. And he's going to correct them by biting. Yeah. So, you got to be very careful with kids and dogs. What I say, any dog, doesn't matter what it is, do not leave your dog unsupervised with any child. I don't care how good the dog is. Don't trust your child with any dog unless it's your dog and unless you're supervising the child with the dog.
Yeah, I've always felt like that too.
100%.
I have a little. She's 15 now, but we got her a princess when she was 6, and I would just be watching. I'd be like,
yeah, no, you have to, man, because all it takes is that 1 second, man, and all chaos will break loose. So you have to be mindful. And a lot of people, they just oh, my dog. You have a person walking the dog in the dog park. A kid just runs up to the dog. The parents lets him run up. The person with the dog is like, oh, it's fine. My dog doesn't bite. We are talking about a child. Yeah. We're talking about an animal.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball. That's why I brought that up.
So, and they're meeting kind of like eye level.
Right.
So the dog will perceive him as another animal instead of a human.
I've thought about that as well. I wonder if that's a real, I've always thought about that.
Yeah, the dog has they don't perceive us as humans. They perceive us as part of their pack or part of where they coexist with.
Because they're at level.
So basically, if they see a kid that's out their level or a little higher or they're a little taller, he's weak. Or if they're at their level, the kid is a little taller, he's a threat because of his height. Hey, I want to touch. Hey, right. Putting their hand on the head, trying to grab the ear. So the dog is like, hey, that's disrespectful. Don't do that.
Sometimes I got to time my walks because when school's out, the kids are walking home by themselves or like it's like the most commuted walkway. And then some kids like, oh, I was like, don't. He's like, does he bite? Yes.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. He has teeth. He will bite. He will bite. And that's one thing I tell, like, my dogs, nobody pet my dogs. You get offended, I don't care. Straight up. You wanna pet a dog, buy your own. Because you know why? When I go to the store with my son, you're not going to pet my son.
Right.
You got a point.
Right? I'm not going to go to the supermarket and you're going to be like, oh, how beautiful is your son? Oh
that's such a weird response.
Why are you touching my son?
Right.
Like, you could say he's beautiful. I thank you, but you don't need to touch my son. Right. So your dog, if he's considered part of your pack and your family member, you have to advocate for him. So the way you advocate, excuse me, can I? No, you can't. Oh, but why? Is he aggressive? No, he's not aggressive, but he's my dog and I don't allow people to pet him. Oh, but you need to socialize. Socialize for what? You going to spend time with me?
I love it. Right? Like, you coming over?
So it's like, you're gonna live with me. We're gonna be eating dinner together. What's gonna happen here? That my dog needs to socialize with you.
But what about the opposite? Like, she loves the attention.
Yeah, no, I mean, she loves the attention, but you have to advocate for her because you have to make sure that the people that are giving her the attention that she wants are the right people to give her that attention.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of
Yeah, she'll just take it from everybody.
yeah, but you see, there's a lot. Let me give you an example. There's I seen this thing on I don't know if it was Instagram. My wife was telling me, and it's she showed me. I don't remember where it was, what platform, but there was a guy in the dog park. Girl had a German Shepherd. It's cool with everybody. The guy comes up to the dog. Oh, can I pet your dog? He sees good. He's so beautiful. Whatever. His hand. He puts it underneath. The dog is licking him. The girl's not aware that he's actually giving her dog poison. The guy leaves. The girl don't know who he is. He leaves. She takes the dog home. The dog starts throwing up. Takes him to the vet. Too late. Dog dies. Gave him poison. So this is what I mean. You have to advocate for your dog. You have to be aware that there are malicious people out here. And the only way you can protect your dog is by advocating for him. So I don't care if he's friendly with everybody. You got to teach her, hey, nah, you're not going over there. No, excuse me, don't pet my dog.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then some people be trying to give them some treats and shit. Like,
Yeah,
no,
that's another.
dog.
Is that
Don't feed
people
my dog.
overdo? They overdo a lot, and it's like, this is why I might see. And every client I try to tell, oh, can I take my dog to the dog park? Do they do it? Some of them do it. I don't take my dogs to the dog park. The dog park is the worst place you could take your dog.
Chaos.
Straight up.
Straight chaos.
Because it's like you having your child that you're educating and you're giving them a different understanding of life and bringing them into a room where there's a whole bunch of destructive kids in there. Yeah. And then you want to bring them home and tell them to behave, and then you don't want them to fight. You don't want them to do this. But you're taking them to the place where he's learning it.
Right.
And he's learning it from the same kids.
Yeah.
Yep. Like he was used to like kick up dirt and
Yeah,
like,
so-
where'd you learn that from?
Yeah, so it's a
a real
behavior.
thing.
They learn a lot of behaviors, and at the same time, once a dog gets into a dog fight in the dog park, will never be the same dog again. Will always be. You can modify it, like I always tell you. You can modify the behavior, but you can't erase it. You can control it, but you can't erase that mindset. So this is why I say the dog park is a very dangerous place. You want your dog to socialize. Your dogs don't need to socialize with other dogs. People, they all speak the same language. There is no Chinese, American, Ukraine, none of that. Dogs all speak the same language. A bark is a bark. A dog knows when a little dog is telling them that came from Germany and an American dog is standing right here and the little dog is like, "Rawr!" And your dog is looking at him. Then your dog goes, "Rawr." The dog knows that dog is telling you, hey, fuck you, nigga. I don't give a fuck what you doing, bro. My dude, whatever. Like,
Yo, your growl is pretty good.
you know what I mean? So, hey,
Practice.
I haven't heard a good one.
that's-
I haven't heard a good one since DMX.
Hey, that's another guy right there. DMX is mine. Man, rest in peace, bro. That's my man right there.
I always
Love DMX.
Yeah, man,
love
I'm
him.
strong,
And he always spoke about dogs,
he did.
how real they are, and the love and passion he had for his dogs. And everywhere DMX rode, he always had his dog with him. Yeah. He never lied. He wasn't like Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is just Snoop Dogg because he's just Snoop Dogg.
X was with the
Yeah, X was actually with his dogs. Like he was constantly like there. I remember one time in with I forgot, he was doing a podcast or whatever, and he was telling a story about a pit bull that he had in his car at a gas station. So this guy was talking crap to him, whatever, and he got out to fight the guy. And he was like, by the time I turned around, my dog was already on him.
Like,
Yeah.
So, it's like, and he's like, and the reason why the dog was on him, because the dog knew that I was in imminent danger. You know what I mean? So the dog jumped to, it was like, I got your back. I'm with you.
it's crazy how responsible. Cause I remember walking my dog one time, and he, for some crazy reason, he ran right in front. And then the other dog was running in the direction because the dog, he was responding to the dog just running up. And this dog had no leash. and he just ran in the front. I'm like, why is he run? And then all of a sudden the other dog is there, but the other dog didn't move.
No, of course, because this is what you see. There's different there's dogs if there's a dog here like my dog, Max, right? If Max is here, he's sitting right here, and your dog comes out of that room, and he comes out of there with an explosive energy, and he's running towards our area.
Right.
This is our area. He's laying next to me. This is my. So once the dog tries to cross that line, he's gonna get up and he's gonna let him know, like, hey, unacceptable. Don't do that. Just by looking at him. And if the dog doesn't follow that, then you give him the posture. The ears up, tail stiff, the tip of the tail probably wagging like this. That's a flag telling you, hey, buddy, look at it. You see this flag right here? No, no, no. No, no, no. And if the dog still proceeds, here comes the the attack warning. Because that's how, dogs that are like not responsive, I usually tap them with my 2 fingers. Right. And that symbolizes the fang of a dog that's basically telling them, hey, back up, correcting. It's a correction. It's what mother dogs use. Right. Parents, they use that as a correction. They tap the dog in the neck and the dog moves away. Oh, okay. Like, it's like you slapping your kid on the head. Hey, come on, I told you to wait. Come on, let's go. So, it's they're very that's why I say they're different. Like the dogs, the way they coexist. Right. They don't have to socialize one another. They don't have to see another dog to understand what a dog is or to coexist with a dog. Max, my dog, never took him to a dog park. Never socialized with dogs, because I don't believe in that. Right. I grabbed the whole pit bull, 11-month-old, pretty big, and brought him to my house. So they were like, oh, it's going to be fights every day. Yeah, there are arguments. Everybody argues. Humans argue. We all argue. Our argument is, enough. No bloodshedding, no biting, no gripping, just arguing. It's all mouth. Cool. Right. Break it up. Both in the crate, they done. But everybody's like, oh, it's a pit bull. He's going to tear up your dog. And I'm like, bro, I'm the leader of my house.
Ain't no fighting happen without me giving the say so.
And it's like, once they start getting into the argument battle, as soon as I be like, enough, everybody, they both go in their crates.
And that's it.
It's over. Shut down.
I think we gotta get you on for like a part 2. We maybe train Zane's dog.
Hey,
and we make
no problem.
We make some content out
Absolutely,
of it.
I'm down for that. Absolutely, that's why I love that, bro. It's my, like I say, man. It's that's why when I go and do stuff with my client, I give them the consultation, but at the same time I talk, but I also show them, because we're all visual animals, right? We like to visualize everything. We like to see it happening in order for us to believe. So once you see it happen, then you're like, okay, this guy it is. Because remember one lady was like, I trained her dog, a Rottweiler, and she was like, I told her, I guarantee you that the dog will be different. And she was like, guarantee is a big word. And I was like, yeah. She was like, so you're guaranteeing, you're using that word? I was like, yes, I'll guarantee my work. But remember, I say this is teamwork. You need to put in your work too. But I guarantee you that I'm going to definitely show you how to change this dog. And the dog changed. And then what she told me, hey, Will, the word guarantee, you was absolutely right.
You was on point.
That's it. 100%.
Hey, man. This was dope. I'm so glad you came on. This was dope. Shout out to Jose.
Yes.
Never
Plateau Fitness. Yeah, my brother.
I'm waiting for him to come on the pod.
Yeah, he was feeling kind of down today. Like he was like a little sick, under the weather. He was gonna come, but he didn't show up because he felt like under the weather. But he'll come next time though. He's dying to come.
Tell him to really come. Tell
Zane definitely. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna let him know. That's my little brother.
Let's go, man. Yeah, this was super dope. Again,
thank you, fellas. Appreciate it, man.
So, where can people tap in with you?
At Diesel Dog Training, and I also have an Instagram platform. There you could gain all my information and
is
number,
it the same
email.
tag? Diesel?
Yeah, Diesel Dog Training, and it's just at Instagram. You could get my email, my telephone number. You could see the dogs that I've trained. I don't film everybody because not a lot of people like to be filmed, and I don't really care. Like I don't really need exposure for something that I know how to do.
Right.
Like I say, you just trust me. You give me the word and you give me the trust, and I will make it work. And I'm gonna show you it'll work.
Ace is a celebrity, so you're in good hands.
Hey, 100%. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. There we go.
Let's go.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, I love this, man.
But the next time, I'll definitely be down to do it with whatever dog. It doesn't matter. You can bring whatever dog.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yo, Ace is the man.
Ace is the man. I'll
All
show
right.
you a picture.
If not, so Princess is one thing that I've been trying to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, when I'm walking her, she will not try to eat everything that's in that grass.
She'll
Just
and you know let me give you a little insight. Grass helps the dog's digestive system.
I've heard of it. She'll just try to.
I don't
She'll pick things up. She'll try to find.
No, but other things, if she's searching for food or objects on the floor, like I said, I don't know if you walk on a harness.
No, just wear a leash.
With a leash? No, I'm saying a collar or a harness. Collar. So basically, you're controlling the neck. What I suggest for you to do for her is get a sliply leash. You know, the one that loops. You control the neck.
Oh yeah.
Walk her with that. Walk her with that. I have one too. If anything, I'll send you the link later. I'll send you so you can get for small dogs, and preferably the Cesar Millan one, which is the one that works most effectively. And with that, you control the neck. So when she's walking with you, you could tell. Right? And if she's spending too much time and you see she's actually looking for stuff, just a little tug, it's a little correction.
I do that now with the regular one.
Yeah, but you see the collar, what it does is it with the tugs, it messes up the trachea. It doesn't release the pressure immediately. So the sliply collar, that one, the leash, that one actually when you tug, it releases immediately. As soon as you tap, release. Tap, release. It just doesn't pull. You don't want to pull the trachea. You don't want to mess the dog's throat up with the collar.
I stopped walking her near anywhere with grass.
Yeah, no, but you see, this is the thing. You gotta
I'm learning.
You have to remove her, but in a way where she's understanding that's not what you want her to do. So corrections at that point is what works. You have to correct her. If she's picking up something, correction.
I like it.
This is what Ace.
Oh, he's beautiful. Oh man, look, he's giving porn. He's giving dap and everything. Nah, man. What you need training for him for?
That's what you say. Nah,
he could probably train me, man. He could give me more insight. Because basically, you know, he's beautiful though. God bless him, man. And you know, it's a beautiful pick.
Yeah, he's a smart dog too. So that's why I tell people, listen, don't let him make you think he's like not smart. He's a smart dog.
No, let me tell you, every dog is smart. And you know what? The dogs are even smarter. Those are the ones you got to be scared of because those will outsmart you in their dog language. They will outsmart you. They'll be like, well, yeah, he's smart, but you know what? I'm smart in my language, so he ain't gonna know what I'm doing right now. But he's beautiful though.
Thank you, man.
Sounds good.
But I'll definitely be more than happy to work with him next time, whatever it is we want to do, or
we'll figure out something.
that's it, man. Whatever dog, man, it doesn't matter. Bring me the dog,
love
man.
it.
Bring
All
me the
dogs.
dog. We'll do the content, no problem.
So next week we're gonna cover this. So Jaylene sent in a topic because I always like to get there. She's 15, so I'm like I always try to get the kids like involved in what type of questions that they have. And she was like, "Yo, why do kids have to take a pacer test?" Like, so Zane, what is that? We're gonna talk about it next week, but like,
Okay.
What is that test?
It's a test. Pretty much, you're running to kind of. It's to make sure that kids are like healthy, so they have to meet a physical requirement, especially with gym. So it's really like the finals for gym class. It's like, well, I have all these kids go to gym this whole year, right? So I need to see if all this activity that they've been doing. The true test is to see if they could actually do like a mile within a certain amount of time. If all those kids are doing like 25 minutes and whatnot to the mile, like then what's your gym teachers doing? It's really a final for the gym teachers than the kids.
There you
You
go.
know what I'm saying? So that's why those tests are like important, just to make sure that they're physically active and that those gym classes actually mean something.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll touch. I think we could turn that different ways that topic. So we'll talk about it next time.
Right.
Thought it was dope. But as we close out the show, we usually just shout out something that we think is dope, something we think is slept on out here. Zane, what you got?
Let's see. I didn't see the movie yet, but I'm gonna say Evil Dead. That comes out this Thursday, and that franchise is actually wild. That's like one of my favorite like horror franchises.
Absolutely, I agree.
So yeah, so it's just like that's something
I love horror movies. I agree.
Yeah, you already
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm giving my shout out to.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send you. So we've done some horror stuff.
A word?
Some
You
film
got
stuff,
it. Yo, you
yeah.
guys gotta send it to me.
Scream
Send me.
and
all.
I
Send you some
love.
links.
I love all that, man. I love anything that has to do. The only horror movie I won't deal with that I admit as a grown man that I'm scared of to this day is The Exorcist. I will not watch that movie, even if I don't care. I do not.
They came up with the Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, I don't watch anything that has The Exorcist on it. It's totally deleted from my. I don't watch that.
It's not even in the stream.
Yeah, that's too far for me.
That is funny.
We watched something. Val, what was that? What was that scary movie the other day you were watching?
The scary movie I was watching?
Yeah, what was the one the other day we were?
The Offering.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And on top.
The Conjuring too. The Conjuring is scary.
Yeah, and
Conjuring is
It's
good.
based on a real story.
yeah, and Deliver Us from Evil. That's
That was
another.
a good one. That was a good
Yo,
one.
my man, I didn't even know that stuff like that because I live like my neighborhood was right behind the Bronx Zoo. Like that was my whole hood.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I would have known that stuff like this was going on in my hood,
Right.
man, bro, I was scared already. I would have left by myself. I would have packed my game and like, I'm out of here, man.
No, the
Been
other
in
one that
Jersey.
we were watching was Lights Out.
Oh, that was one of my favorite.
You like that?
Lights Out?
Because
I-
of the director, he had a short, and that short ended up being that was his first big movie.
Lights Out. I'm trying to remember. I don't know because I seen
It was
It was,
like
it
a
was
creature
alright.
in the, like it,
That was always in
in
the
the-
dark.
in the
the dark.
oh yeah I seen that. It was on Netflix, right? Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen
I
it.
give it like a solid 5.5. It was
I mean,
can't say
hey,
nothing.
you know the movies that I give a solid 10 to, and they're right now I watch them and like I can't believe I actually watched these movies. It was like Jason, Friday the 13th,
Oh,
Freddy
yeah.
Krueger.
Oh, yeah.
Like I
Slasher
can't.
movies.
I see them now. I'm like I can't believe I actually sat and watched these movies.
Hey,
like,
man.
they're so corny right now. It's like what the hell?
I
But it-
recently watched Power Rangers like 3 years ago, like
Oh,
the first
man.
one. I said this movie was the sugar honey iced tea when it came out. I was like, this movie is trash
Oh
from
my
a
God,
film
man.
perspective.
Yeah, it's like it's.
But it's just like I gave that movie a fucking 10.
You know what I mean? That's just that's the way we see things now. Nowadays, the way they have technology and how advanced it is, everything is just like superb.
Right.
That's actually my shout out is tech. It is AI.
Yup.
Yo, if you are not, yes, Val, she knows.
You never seen Terminator,
Nah,
apparently.
yo, nah, look,
You
yo,
don't see it coming.
y'all need to get on this. I've been, but yo, y'all know I always be on it before. I'm trying to tell y'all.
I'm trying to warn y'all.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Yo, learn this shit now.
I agree.
I
Absolutely.
mean, they already learned you, so
Yo.
No, I did.
It's the
Yo.
new world, man.
it's the new world order.
I am getting really funky with it. I'm asking it now how to create AI things for me, and it's telling me like it's insane, yo.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
If you're not tapped in with AI, I was on a Zoom call yesterday. I had it make me descriptions and timestamps for like 3 episodes in like 25 minutes
Wow.
of podcasting, and it was like great, and it was like it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, technology is taking over, man. AI is the new norm now, man. And you got people having meetings with cartoons with emojis.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever avatars. I'm sorry, avatars. Like it's crazy.
That's the future now.
Yeah,
You gotta
and-
be
The
new
talking
future.
to someone that's not even there.
Yep.
I
You
was
know what I
at-
mean?
I was watching an interview with Grant Cardone. Y'all know I'm a big fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Grant Cardone with the creator of Siri. And
Wow.
the creator of Siri straight up said like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Like they were like, because obviously they are AI,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, they were getting into their whole history and how they, worked with Apple and everything. It was a great interview if you're into that shit.
No, definitely. I mean,
And he was like, this is it though. He was like this. He's like, not right now. He's like, it's gonna take time. It's all right. Just let it rock. We're about to close out right now anyway. He was like, this is the birth of what's gonna change the next 12 years.
Of course, absolutely, and it's already transitioning to that. Absolutely, 100%. Everything is that you have Alexa or Siri or whatever the hell in your house, and it's like these AIs are speaking to you, and you don't even ask them nothing.
Yeah.
They're constantly listening to you.
Yeah, it happened. I was watching a movie on my laptop, and I connected to my computer, and then the movie I was watching said something, and then Siri responded on my MacBook.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Right
Crazy.
now? I was
The
like,
way it shows you what you're scrolling through, what type of movies you look at Netflix or whatever. It kind of like configures what is it you like. If you like to see a lot of horror, comes up horror, action comes like it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
it's like they know me so well.
It's listening right.
Yeah.
It's listening right now somewhere.
And
Yeah,
it's
like
like,
the phones.
yep, absolutely.
But again, man, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you, bro.
by.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for all the
Thank you.
gems.
Appreciate it, man.
I feel
Absolutely.
like I gotta pay you to come on this
Nah,
podcast.
man,
You
nah.
got so many
Drop
gems.
the gem.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like I say, it's always an honor and a pleasure when anything that has to do with dogs. I practically will do it for free, bro. It's like, it's just my love. I just love to see the reward of the dog behaving and the human actually accepting this behavior and being like, seeing the smile, like, oh man, I couldn't believe my dog could actually do this.
Yeah. This was dope, man. Again, we'll be back soon.
Yes.
Another episode of Therapy Without a Degree. Tapped in. If you're watching us, Zane's film is out. Go check it out. His new short
Absolutely.
film. What's the name of it?
It's called Tomorrow's Yesterday.
Love it.
Word. Tap in. You already know. Desiree, thank you for all your help. Val back there, thank you for all your help. And we'll see y'all soon. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.